Hi, brother teacher here. One of my subscribers and followers asked me a question about uh, spirituality, if you will, and how do you read the Bible for a clear understanding, and what is my personal belief. At least that's the way I interpreted what he asked me. It's pretty concrete. That's a fair question. Now, I want you to bear with me for a moment, those of you that have a mind and an ear to listen, because the only way that I can explain me is to be me. I cannot articulate someone else's view, or point of view, or opinion of anything. So what I'm telling you about to tell you comes from teacher, comes from Reginald. Now, if you are inclined to read the Bible, let's say the Holy Bible, and or the Quran for that matter, and you want to have some understanding of what it means, the deep mysteries, if you will, as some might call it, and some of the prophetic uh, events, some of the foretelling of future events, if you will, and some of the history that took place and how things affect us today and how we should be governing our lives today. If you're inclined to really know, then that would mean to me that you're serious. You have to be serious. That's the first thing. Picking up the Bible, the Holy Bible, is not like picking up a magazine off of a department store shelf. It's not picking up the newspaper. It's not like picking up Vogue magazine or GQ or O magazine by Oprah Winfrey, Ebony magazine. It's not the same. It's not the same read. It's not like picking up a fiction or nonfiction book or a novel. It's not the same. I believe that those words that are contained in the Bible are living. They're living words. They are words that were inspired by men who lived around the time that the man that we call Jesus, whom I call by his Hebrew name Yeshua, during the time that he lived here on the earth, at least from the New Testament point of view, there were men who actually experienced him, and there were men who were actually told by men who experienced him about the life that Jesus or Yeshua lived on the earth. And the Bible is a compilation of all of the stories, all of the prophetic events, again, that were placed there by men of old, and even holy men or saints, as it were. It's a compilation of an Old Testament, 39 books, New Testament, 27 books. That's the current Bible anyway. There are some lost scrolls and some other books that were left out of that particular Bible, but what we have today, more commonly known to us as the Holy Bible, that's what we have. I would encourage you, Andreas, the gentleman that asked me about this, and anyone else who wants to know what God's will is for mankind, to study. As the book of Timothy said, study to show yourself approved. And then you can go on from there, rightly dividing the word of truth. Now, everything as far as life is concerned is not in one passage in the Bible. It's throughout. So it takes a diligent effort from a diligent individual who has a diligence, if you will, for study. If you are on a journey to find the answer to anything in life, you must be about it. It's not just a skate in the park, you know? So, my way of reading the Bible over the years I have been reading the Bible is to escape from all of the mundane things, all of the television programs and the nonsense and all of the things that distract us and take our attention away from those things that we really should be paying attention to, and get by myself for the most part. And this is something that I truly believe. We are spiritual beings enclosed in a physical body. Stop. Let that go over in your head many, many times if you have to. What I just said. We are spiritual beings enclosed in a physical body. This physical body houses our spirit. The thing that makes me Reginald, that makes you, whoever you are, we're spiritual beings. We have consciousness that makes us aware of the world in which we live. We have feelings and emotions. We have the ability to think, to reason, to create, to build, to love, to hate. These things did not just simply come by happenstance. So, I believe that there is a divine being, divine providence, as Napoleon Hill referred to the Creator as, the Most High, the Omnipotent, the Almighty. Some debate and argue if he is a male or a female, a woman or a man. The scripture itself says that God's a spirit, and those that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. Think about that word truth again as well. There are diverse religions and belief systems as to there being a divine entity that's responsible for the world, the universe in which we all occupy a space in. There's only one truth, though. You cannot have 1,000 religions that say that God is this, and they're all in disagreement. He's only one way. Now, what makes the difference how he is to us is the diligence that I referred to a moment ago. If you seek the Creator, even in this vast world of knowledge that we have, and even misinformation, but if you seek the Creator earnestly from your heart, he will reveal himself to you. And he will begin to open up understanding to you. And all of that understanding that is required of you to navigate in this world in which we all live, it doesn't come in a day. He gives to every man a measure of faith, every man wisdom and understanding, knowledge, according to how he deems it necessary for that particular individual. I don't know everything. I know a lot about a lot of things, but I don't know everything about everything. I'm still a student of life. I've said this before and I'm saying it again. I'm a student of life. And the only time a human being stops learning is when a human being dies. Or even while they are alive, they decide that they don't want to learn. They fight against education. And I'm not talking about in the conventional sense, schools and universities and so forth. I'm not talking about that education. I'm talking about education about life, the world in which we all occupy. That education. Why are we here? What is our individual purpose being here? What happens when we leave here? That's education. That is the education that I am speaking of. So, again, to answer again my friend's question about how to get a better understanding of what the Bible is saying, it is not of any private interpretation. I will say that to you. The scripture reveals itself to you when you are ready, when you have decided, when you have determined in your heart to know what God's will is for you. That is when he opens up that understanding to you. Then and only then, not before. Because no average anyone or any person can just open up the Bible and say it says this and it means that. No one knows that unless they have a purpose. Let me tell you, the Almighty is all intelligent. And if he created humanity, he created humanity for a purpose. And if he wants humanity to know his purpose, he's not going to hide it from them. But humanity must be willing to know what his purpose is. and willing to follow it as well. So, my friend and my friends, if you want to know what the scripture is saying, ask the Creator. But not just by lip service. Ask Him from your heart, and He will reveal the scriptures to you in due time. So, my belief is that there is, again, a God. There are many gods, hundreds of gods, maybe even thousands of gods. God just refers to an entity that people worship. You can worship gold, you can worship money, you can worship the sun, an elephant, you can worship anything. But the true and the living God is the one that's responsible for everything that you say you worship on this planet, on this plane. I believe in that ultimate, almighty, most high, that God. He is the true and the living God. And the scripture says it is through Him that we live and that we move and have our being, our very being, our existence. And without Him we can do nothing. We take for granted the fact that we are here. But one thing that is for certain, we're going to die one day, all of us, this physical death. And what we all should be concerned about is what's after this. Because there is going to be an accountability for everything that we have done and said in our hearts and committed in our bodies, good and bad, one day. Just because you don't see it right now doesn't mean that it's not going to occur. It is. So, I do believe that there was a Son of God, that there is a Son of God, and I believe that the man that most of the world call Jesus Christ, His name is Yeshua. Someone pronounces it Yehoshua as well, and there's another pronunciation as well, but my understanding, my comprehension is this Yah, which is God, Shua, salvation, Yahshua, Joshua. And the Father's name is difficult to pronounce it in English. Some say Yahweh or Yahweh. And we can all not make a mistake by saying Yah. That is the Creator, the Father's name. So I do believe that He sent His Son to die for the sins of the world. He was the sacrificial lamb. Now, I'm not here to try to convince or cause anyone to have any conviction as to what my belief is. You have to believe for yourself, which means that you must be on your own individual journey, because I'm on mine. It doesn't mean that I'm wrong in what I'm saying. It means simply that I'm convinced and I'm convicted as to the knowledge that I have at this point in my life. Things are added all of the time to my knowledge and my understanding. And there are some things I dispel and I get rid of that were mistakenly learned by me, that were given to me by people who were misinformed, who did not understand or even know what they were talking about. Some of them no fault of their own. It's just simply the world in which we live. There's so much confusion on planet Earth about everything that concerns our lives as human beings. We must learn to sift through all of those things and find the truth. And the truth is there. But you have to want to find the truth. This is Brother Teacher. Yahweh loves you. And I love you. Stay safe. And if this video was of any value to you, please like it and share it with someone that you care about. So long.